because there's a lot of stuff just in this that I realized I did not know that. So I also had someone send in a question, or try to send in a question in Spanish. And I do speak Spanish, but not fluently, and I didn't, even with what I know, I was like, well, I don't know what he's saying. So what do you do in a situation like that?
I got that exact thing one time where somebody sent a question.
It wasn't a text one, it was just a regular.
Right. Well, the way it happened with me was they sent a question. I actually copied it into Google Translate and translated it into English. So I knew what they were asking, but I came back to them with, I'm sorry, I don't speak, and it ended up it was Norwegian. So I'm sorry, I don't speak Norwegian. That was the maglev train one, actually. Then I need information on maglev trains. And so I asked him at the end, I said, did you use Google Translate to do your question in Norwegian? He was like, you're the first one to get that, man. I was like, so I mean, if you do get a question like that, I just automatically just plop it into Google Translate.
And it didn't work.
Oh, really?
And I know enough that I could look at it and I'm like, oh, this is not making sense. And
It was it the Spanish question, the one that was like, oh, gados, whatever.
It was really short.
It was short, okay.
It kept coming up over and over, and I was already answering another question, and so I kept closing it, and finally I think I wrote it down, and then I went and tried to translate it. It didn't make any sense.
Yeah. And I think that some of it is just people trying to get a rise to, once again, probably a rudimentary, Spanish class. Let me see what they do with this. But if you don't speak the language, or even if you don't speak it well, don't feel you have to engage in that. I mean, we had a Spanish queue, back before I even started as coordinator, and it didn't get any use, so it went away. Don't feel obligated you have to reply to somebody in Spanish. I'm sorry, I don't speak Spanish.
But then I thought maybe there's another librarian I'm supposed to send it to them, and how do I find that out?
No. Unfortunately, we don't have any sort of cadre of Spanish speakers in the closet up at CPO, unfortunately. But yeah, don't feel obligated to reply to that. Once again, make it, because I mean, if they got far enough to enter their chat, so they had to read at least some English, so they have to at least, even if they speak the language, they're going to have some sort of rudimentary understanding of English. If you do want to keep it simple, ask short sentences, that sort of thing. If you want to try it, once again, if you copy and paste it into Google Translate, see if it's anything there. But like I said, the one in Norwegian was just that was funny. It ended up really well. He was really interested in getting resources for his homework. And then I actually, whenever I signed off, I went to Google Translate, put something in English, did it into Norwegian, and get it back to him, and he did that sort of thing. So I was like, but does that help at all? I mean, okay. Any other questions, comments? We have a little less than half an hour. I'm going to race through this, at least so I can get you an idea of what to offer here. This is the Enhancing Customer Service Skills Through Transcript Evaluation, which is probably the driest title of any presentation I've ever done. Once again, I encourage people to see those transcripts as a learning opportunity. The transcripts of the month, the usernames that are there, search the transcripts for their sessions, see how they do things, pick up some tips and tricks, try the keyword searches for like boyfriend and that sort of thing. I think that's actually a really good idea. I'm glad you brought that up. That sort of, so you can see how other people have handled that, whether they've handled it well or handled it badly. You can at least pick up some ideas. And once again, you have to log into the provider site to get that. So what we do is all about customer service. You can never really tell who is on the other side of a reference transaction. Whenever somebody comes to us, we don't know whether they are a patron of our library or somebody else's library, whether they are the child of a legislator maybe, because the state librarian goes to the state legislature and talks about Know It Now as the resources. It could be somebody who's going to be voting for their local library's levy. Whatever service they get through this library service they've logged on to is going to color their perception of what libraries can do for them, what they feel about libraries, and it's going to color whether they're going to vote for somebody's levy, whether they're going to vote against somebody's levy. The service that you provide is hopefully the best that you can provide for them, and that it will be a positive experience for the patrons. We're going to hang this on the guidelines for behavioral performance of reference and information service providers. So the first one there is approachability, and that's defined there as the librarian's first step in initiating the reference transaction is to make the patron feel comfortable in a situation that can be perceived as intimidating, confusing, or overwhelming. Especially with things like the Affordable Care Act and things like that now. I mean, intimidating, confusing, and overwhelming. Using Google, using Wikipedia, any kinds of questions, all those things, we need to make patrons feel comfortable. they want to come back to us and they want to ask additional questions. I do have one of these? No, I'm going to do this. I'm going to use you as a matter of fact, because you're up front.
Okay.
I just want to read this one just to give you an idea, like I said, about that whole conversational tone. Would you like to be Ozzy or the guest?
I don't care.
Okay, I'll let you be Ozzy.
Okay. Hi, I'm Ozzy. Thanks for your question.
What was Socrates' view of God?
Hi, Abram.
Hi there.
Hi, can you tell me a little bit more about what you'd like to find?
I'm going to start the reference interview. Yeah, the question for my homework asks, explain the role the concept God played in the second set of charges against Socrates in Apology, and explain how Socrates responds to these charges.
Okay, thanks. Can you use any source of information like web pages?
Yes.
Okay, give me a moment while I search.
Okay, thanks.
There is a book titled Socrates in the Apology, an essay on Plato's Apology of Socrates. You can read much, but not all of it, in Google Books. I'll send you the link, and you can take a look while I keep searching.
Just say
And there's the link. It will also help me to know if you are attending college in Ohio. If so, which college?
yes, I've read the book. It's what we were assigned in my philosophy class. I go to Bowling Green State University.
Oh, so that book I sent was the same book you read for your class?
Correct.
Well, at least I was on the right track. I'll keep
Smiley
digging
face.
then. Smiley face. Yeah, I'll keep digging then.
Ha! Yes, you were.
And then still searching.
Yeah, it's a tough question.
Yes, I can see why you'd have trouble finding things on this topic. I'm going to send you a link to an article. I'm not sure if it's on Target, but take a close look and let me know if it helps or not. You may need to log in if you're off campus.
I have my final exam in the class tomorrow morning.
Okay, so there's a link. And so this is a review question to help you prepare for the exam.
Correct.
It's a smart thing to do to look for other sources outside your textbook. Good for you.
Yeah, I'm trying. I have a meeting with my professor here at 5:30.
Do you already have some of your own ideas on the topic?
Some, not a lot.
It's good to start with your own ideas. I'm sure it will help when you talk to your professor. Did that article help at all?
Currently searching through it.
Okay, no rush.
Yeah, some of the stuff did help. Thanks.
Good. I'm still looking, but let me know if you need to sign off.
I think that's all I need. Thanks for your help.
Great. Glad I could help. Thanks for using our service. Come back again if you need help with another question. And good luck on your exam tomorrow.
So that's that whole conversational tone. The other thing that I like about this one is that she sent that little thing about I'm still searching. All those little still searching, thanks for holding, conversation, things that can make the conversation continue, shows the patron that you're still connected, that you're still interested in helping them out, and just sort of keep it flowing along. One thing we don't want to be is like the great Oz and expect people to come to us on bended knee and be supplicants before us. We want to make them feel comfortable. We want to strike a balance between formality and informality, and I think that Ozzy did a good job there of sort of striking that balance. You put one smiley face in there. And smiling is easier in person, but online, once again, it's those little, good morning, thanks for holding, good luck on your exam, all those sorts of things, I think sort of convey that warm human interaction that you want to try and get with people. And I actually put the transcript at the beginning instead of at the end there, sorry.
How long was that transcript?
1613 to 1636. So about 13 minutes. And that actually brings up a good point. One of the things that I think they talk about in the Seeking Synchronicity report is that the average virtual reference session was around, I think, 8.5 minutes or something like that, which means that there were some that were much longer, some that were much shorter. I shouldn't say everybody, many people often ask, well, how long should I stay with a patron? And my answer is always, until you answer that question. And I think that's, I've heard of some libraries that actually say you get, 5 minutes with a librarian, if you need 6 minutes, how is that going to work? But, and always try and finish with those things like, is there anything else I can help you with? As grueling as it is sometimes, and I've had those sessions myself, always try and let the patron be the one that ends the session. Unless it's, you're using inappropriate file language 1 and 2. The next one on the RUSA guidelines is interest. It says, while not every query will be of interest to the librarian should embrace each patron's informational need and should be committed to provide the most effective assistance. One of the complaints that I do see on the patron surveys fairly often is that the librarian didn't seem interested in helping me. or some permutation on that. And I don't think each patron wants you to say, that's the most interesting question I've gotten all day. Thank you so much for asking it. But they at least want to know if it is a legitimate information need, that their information need is at least being taken seriously. At the in-person desk, it's easy because you can have that eye contact. Once again, that eye contact equivalent on the chat is that still looking, thanks for holding, this is harder than I thought, I can see why you're having problems finding this. All those little things that you can type in quick or even use as a personal canned message, you can sort of keep that conversation rolling so they can see something showing up on their screen is important. It's a good idea to at least try and remain curious. I think one of the reasons that I became a librarian at least was that I didn't really know what I wanted to do, so now I get to do a little bit of everything. Having a shot at this every once in a while is probably a good idea. And sharing those things, if you find a new good resource that you haven't used before, feel free to send that out as a broadcast as well. Hey, I was helping a patron, found this website, had some really good stuff on it, and just share that. And gender that curiosity throughout both your institutions as well as throughout the service as a whole. I think that helps out. So the negative example for this one, in showing interest, the question was, how do I find out about royalties for gas wells in Boardman, Ohio? Which is a fairly complex question, I think. The librarian comes on with the canned greeting. There's about 2 minutes. And then after looking at some websites about this topic, I would say your best bet will be to contact a lawyer who deals in this. I can find no general information for you on the web. Or talk to your local officials. They might have more information. Thanks for using our service. Come back again if we can help you with another question. And then the very last line is the patron coming back saying, well, who do you mean by local officials? If you're going to say you need to contact local officials, at least give them some information, some contact information for that. Another one that could have been used here is, anybody familiar with the Martindale-Hubbell lawyer search online? I can't remember what the URL is, but if you Google Martindale-Hubbell lawyer search, you can search by profession, by location, and find them lawyers in the area that deal with those particular topics in particular areas. So that comes in really handy. Listening and inquiring is next. The reference interview is the heart of the reference transaction, and it's crucial to the success of the process. The reference interview online, I can never say it enough, the reference interview online is just as important as it is at the in-person desk. I said this at one of my trainings, and afterwards I told the person that had set it up, I said, I'm sorry, I sort of harped on that whole reference interview thing online, that it's important as it is in person. And she sort of rolls her eyes and looks at me, she says, well, some of the librarians don't do that in person either, so it's not a bad idea to bring them home. But once again, make the patient aware. If it's a prank, those reference interviews come in really handy to help weed those out, I should say. Don't just take that question, shut off your ears and dive in. That whole driving, remember that whole driving and diving dichotomy. Don't necessarily make work for yourself if you don't have to. Ask the questions, listen to what the patron says back or writes back, and it can definitely help you out. Have a two-way conversation with the patron. Here is and I shudder every time I do this, but there was one that was in the newsletter a while back, but I bring it up in trainings just to remind everybody how not to do it. The patron came on with, what are man-made disasters? You get the canned greeting, and the librarian sends them a Wikipedia link to a list of man-made disasters. This has an explanation of man-made disasters, the librarian says. The patron comes back, we're not allowed to use Wikipedia or Google, only databases, because they're not accurate. Librarian sends a link to the difference between .com and the difference between natural versus man-made disasters. Patron says, is this off a database? Is it reliable? Librarian sends a link to answers.yahoo.com. Librarian says, it's pretty reliable. Guest says, we're not allowed to use any search engines, only databases. Librarian sends a link to disasterium.com. Librarian says, this has info on disasters. Guest says, is this off a database? Librarian says, do you need more? Yes, only if they're off a database. This is an article on the internet explaining disasters. Did you get your answer? Yes, but is it off a database? You are not answering my question. Those are in capital letters. I thought you asked about natural and man-made disasters. I did, but I also asked if the websites you gave me were off a database. The articles are from a database. I provided you the site. Well, Wikipedia isn't off a database, and Yahoo isn't off a database. I'm trying to do research off of databases, and you're not giving me database websites. I'm not dumb, lady. That's also capital letters. What I gave you are the websites. Wikipedia is a production of different people publish their stuff in websites. There are other people waiting. I should move on. If you want more, I can give you some more sites. Not trying to be rude, it's just that I'm getting frustrated. Yes, but my teacher does not want us students using it because it is not reliable and it is not a database. Librarian sends a link to an article from Time, and then the guest signs off with, bye, thanks for your help. I'm guessing they're not really thanking the librarian for their help. Please do not do this. I put some of this in the newsletter, and I got an email from Stephen Hedges, who's the head of Oakland, and he's like, what's going on, man? I said, yeah, I know, that's why I called everybody's attention to it. Searching. So we all hopefully know how to search. We talked about Google, Wikipedia, how to utilize those things, state library website, or the statewide websites, all those sorts of things are helpful in the search process. I think a lot of people think of the internet like this. You know, our job is to sort of navigate people through it, get them where they need. That's once again why you don't want to necessarily send search results. You can send search results off a database, but sending search results from Google is probably not a good idea, especially for images. I've had people who come on and say, I need pictures of raccoons for my report. And I've seen people send the link to a Google image search results. I guarantee you on page 5 or 6, there's going to be a picture of a raccoon that you did not mean to send them. And I will let your mind run rampant as to what you think that might be. I had somebody, a librarian, send me an email one time saying that they did exactly that somebody had asked for things, and I said, oh, there were some great pictures on Google, and I sent it to them, and oh my lord, I looked at it after I disconnected, and on page 5 there was this and this and this, and I said, well, this is a learning experience, and now we've all learned from that, so let's not do that again. So, but that's one of the things you want to look at the authority of websites, resources, databases, and send individual things to patrons, whether that's images, whether that's articles, whatever that is. You're the arbiter of all things authoritative out there on the internet, so definitely play to your strengths. We have so many different ways to do things now. The nexus of technology that I had happen to me on Know It Now one time was I had a student who needed an article. I tried to send it to her from a database. That didn't work. I tried to do a couple other things. It wasn't coming through for her. I said, well, I could email it to you directly to your email account. She's like, okay, that'll be good. So I emailed it to her from EBSCOhost, I think it was. And as I'm chatting with her online, she says, okay, I have my email account up on my phone now. I can see the article. So this is exactly what I needed. So this is great, thank you. So we were chatting. She was on her phone. I emailed her the article from the database, and it was just like this nexus of technology that like all came together at the same time. So it was a beautiful thing, brought a tear to my eye. So searching, let's see. I'm going to let you guys, we got time. This is one of my favorites. It's that one there, and that first word is torpedo.
What is a torpedo exactly?
Hello, you've connected to your 24/7 online reference service staffed by librarians across the state. Please wait a moment while I take a look at your question. Are you asking about a torpedo?
Yes. Ampersand GT semicolon colon.
Yeah, that's okay.
Okay, you are looking for a basic definition of a torpedo?
Yes.
I will find one for you. Please wait.
Question mark. Emoticon.
There you go. There you go.
Really happy emoticon. Heart. Another weird emoticon.
There is a link to the Merriam-Webster dictionary entry for that word. There's a link. Please look it over and let me know if you need further info.
Thank you. How big is a torpedo?
Are you referring to the weapon used underwater?
Yes. What other kind of torpedo is there? Weird emoticons. Hello? Smiley face.
The first entry in the dictionary definition I sent you is of an animal. The entry also refers to assassins, fireworks, and submarines.
Thank you. I will look.
Do you want to know about ones currently in use or ones used in the past?
Currently.
Or both? This may take a few minutes. Please be patient.
Okay, thank you. I heart you. Just kidding.
Here's a
I
link
always
to-
like to see how people read that line.
Here's a link to Wikipedia entries listed under modern American torpedo. Link. Do you mean American ones?
Oh wait, I can't use Wikipedia.
Okay, here is the U.S. Navy page.
Oh, and yes, I do mean American ones. Something else, please. How big are they?
Here's a page from the Historic Naval Ships Association.
Thank you. Too advanced.
Here's basic information on MK46. Answering your science question, I am looking for others.
Something else?
Here is Mark 50. Here is Mark 54. Link. Oops, wrong link. Here is Mark 54. Link.
That's perfect.
Then another link. Great! Exclamation point.
Yep.
Those are all the torpedoes in ABA's list thing. Does this info completely answer your questions?
Okay, that's great. Thanks, bye. Yes.
Thank you for using our service. Come back again if you need help with another question.
Okay, thank you.
Good.
I think so.
And scene. That was good. You give them an applause. I like that one because, and I've been using this one for a while in my training. I like it because she didn't take anything for granted. I mean, she may have even taken it further than she needed to. She said, "Are you asking me about the weapon used underwater?" It's like, well, what other kind of torpedo is there? Well, evidently there were other ones in the definition, so she took absolutely nothing for granted. Whenever she searched, then she sent pages for the MK50, the MK48. She didn't just send one page and said, "Your answer's here." She actually, that's sort of like, going, and we're going to use this other example in just a second, but it's sort of like saying, somebody, I need information on World War II, well, the history books are over there. It's like, here's the one for this torpedo, this torpedo, this torpedo. It also let her send information without having to send one page and say, well, if you look about halfway, you're going to see a list of torpedoes, and da-da-da-da-da. She said, 48, 50, 51, here's the ones right here. Made it much easier for her and made it easier for the patron. It was very conversational, back and forth. That reference interview, once again, she went, like I said, maybe even farther than she needed to. So I like that one for any number of reasons. And finally, we have conclusion and follow-up. I mentioned earlier that you do have access if you need to follow up by email. We do have that shared email account that you're more than welcome to use. You don't have to use your own email account. Just because something starts out as that virtual reference chat doesn't mean it has to end that way. Whenever you do conclude, once again, try and let the patron be the one to end the session. Is there anything else I can help you with? Please, no more. You can say that if you want to, just don't type it. Once again, what we don't want to be are your answers are over there. The history books are over there, whatever you want to be. Don't be that kind of librarian. In person, it is easier because you can flip that screen around and say, oh, click here, click there, and then if you do that, you're going to see this. You can do some of those sorts of things to conclude a session, so that you're sure that the patron understands. If you do send them a website, the search box is up in the upper left-hand corner, type in what you're looking for there, all that sort of thing. Your answer looks like your answer that you're looking for is in the third or fourth paragraph down. I don't want to give you the answer, but it looks like you might find what you're looking for there. All those sorts of things that you can sort of move the session to conclusion. With emails, I have one that I'm just going to rip through real quickly here. This is from Sonia at Sinclair Community College, who works with Ozzy, as a matter of fact. Sinclair Community College, I don't know what it is about the librarians there, but they do a really good job. The patron came in looking for information on, I'm looking for journal articles on the topic of taking standardized tests in an arena setting compared to the classroom setting. Sonia logs on and she asks him, well, what do you mean by arena setting? The guy says, taking the test in the cafeteria or gymnasium with lots of students. Sonia comes back with, okay, have you found anything so far? How much information do you need? Once again, that reference interview, moving right along. He talks about, it's for a research class, and we're doing a research proposal. I wasn't able to find information. I wasn't able to find this information because I'm a teacher and I give a third grade achievement test in a gym setting. So far I've only found one journal article that deals with the high school students. I need to find a couple of articles to support my literature review. So Sonia says, oh, this might take a lot of research. Do you have a few minutes? That's fine. He says, yeah. Okay, well, let me see what I can find. What was the name of the one article you did? He gives her the article. It's all in capital letters. So he says, oh, sorry, it's in caps. I pasted it from the article. And she said, that's okay. I can work with it. Smiley face. There's a little bit of a gap there. Then she says, I see the problem that you're having with this topic. There's no standardized terminology for what you're looking for. And the guest says, well, okay, thanks for looking. Sonia comes back with, oh, I only started. Should I email you anything I find? Can't promise anything, but I hate to keep you hanging online. I would probably search ERIC, dissertation abstracts, educational research database, and the Electronic Journal Center to name a few. That'll take some time. And the patron says, well, that'd be great if you could email me, thanks. I said, well, let me look around a little more. If I'm unable to find much, then I'll let you know that as well as the databases I searched. By the way, did the one article you find include a bibliography of works cited? Yes, but the references had nothing to do with the topic, more about memory. I said, okay, Well, let me see what else I can find, and I'll email you one way or the other by 9 p.m., okay? Just thanks a lot. Don't thank me yet. I haven't found anything yet, but keep your fingers crossed. Actually, Sonia in a training class said, yes, she found something. She emailed the patron back, and as we all know, it went out into the ether, and now she doesn't know whether it actually helped them out in the end or not. But it's that, they come up to the desk, give them the resources, and they go away, and you're like, I hope it helps. But the reason I bring this one up for the follow-up and the conclusion is, she said what she was going to search. She said she was going to email him whether she found anything or not. She was going to email him by 9 p.m. that night. And the fact that she said ahead of time that she was going to search area dissertation abstracts means that the patron doesn't go off, reduplicate what search she was going to do, and can maybe look in some different databases and things for himself. But the patron knows exactly what to expect, when to expect it, and that this is where she's going to search. I like that. She sort of ties the whole thing up. And once again, it ended here with the chat, but then there was the follow-up with the email, so that it bought her some time, and also that the patron knew that he was going to get something in the end as well. So not just because it starts there doesn't mean it has to end there. So to summarize what we talked about in an hour and a half, I think, be approachable, be interested, try and remain curious. Being curious, I think, goes a long way into making your day a little bit better. If you can at least find something every once in a while that goes, that's kind of cool. That goes a long way, I think. Listen and ask questions and conduct those searches together with your patrons. That reference interview can both buy you some time, as well as weed out the pranks, as well as get you the information you need to search. And then follow up if necessary, and always encourage your patrons to come back. Thank you for using our service. If you need anything else, please feel free to come back. There's a canned message for that one if you want to use that. Or once again, use your own words. The conversational tone is what I really want to try and stress here this afternoon. If you do want the slides for this, if there's any URLs or anything, you're more than welcome to go to my SlideShare site. Once again, if you need to email us, it's support@knowitnow.org. And does anybody have any other questions or anything? We got, look at that, 12:30. If you do think of anything afterwards, if you sort of cogitate on everything and you come up with things, please don't hesitate to let me know. I'm here for you guys. This is what I do. This is what they pay me for. So if you do have any questions, you ever have any problems, any issues, don't hesitate to email me or give me a call. Once again, our contact information is on the provider site as well. If you want to get an account for the provider site, if you don't have it, feel free to look at all those training materials that are there. If you decide to use the SparkRef practice server, you're more than welcome to it. If you don't have the information to log in, please don't hesitate to let me know as well. And Amy is our conduit through CML. So.
Right. If you do need to contact Dawn directly if you're at CML, I just ask that you CC me so that if someone else at CML has the same question
Exactly. Yep.
and they come to me, rather than going to Dawn, I will know how he wants to answer that question. So just so I'm kind of, again, keeping my ear on what everybody's asking about, that would be great.
And it's really helpful for me too, because chances are if you're having an issue or you have a question, it could very well be that somebody else has the same question but isn't asking it. So it is applicable. I can't always post things to the provider site to share information with other librarians as well. So it helps everybody out if you're willing to ask questions. Okay? All right. Thank you all very much. We very much appreciate you coming this morning, and I look forward to saying the same thing again this afternoon.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dawn.
Thanks,
All right.
John.
Thanks,